Hi, welcome to Joanna Today. Here's another one of our videos that's associated with internet dating. Have you or are you thinking about meeting somebody on the internet? And what are the pros and cons attached to internet dating? And how does it make you feel as well? It's one of those things where people say, so where did you meet your partner? And you're like, kind of met them in the pub, but really you met them online or you met them on the internet. Is that such a bad thing? Or are you ashamed to admit that you've met somebody on the internet? Why is there such a bad stigma attached to this? So does it make you feel unsettling? Does it make you feel a bit anxious to meet somebody online? For me as a psychic, would it reassure you that most people I'm talking to now, or who are already in long-term relationships, have met their partners via the internet, have met them on an internet dating site? Are they admitting this? Well, I'll be honest, some are, some aren't, but I want to share with you the pros and cons of internet dating and what you will benefit from internet dating as well. On the positive side, there is a positive, it saves time. Now, it does, because you can sieve out all the dodgy ones that you meet when you're out with your friends, or if you're out and about and then maybe you've met a whole bunch of guys or girls, but they're all drunk and you think, I'll never really get to know this person. You always meet them on strange circumstances. Or they're just, like I say, too busy having a good time. But when you sign up for something, you find that you're going to be sieving out the ones that you don't really want to be going out on dates with. So you can date lots in such a short space of time because you've sieved out those ones that you don't want. Being specific about your needs, it's all about saying, do I have a tick list here? But perhaps you do, but it does help to some degree on the internet to decide what sort of person you really want to date or to have as your lifelong partner. It would be easier for me to say you could just date everybody, but I know you're going to be more specific and you can sieve out, like I say, the ones you don't want. You can take your time to literally look at what types of characters you're attracted to. Their profiles are normally filled out and they're normally very detailed as well. You don't have to give out your telephone number or your address or anything like that. It's very private for yourself. But there's no pressure in internet dating. You can take your time, and it could be months, it could be weeks. Quite a lot of people have met their partners over a duration of 3 to 6 months before they actually physically met them, some longer. Hiding behind a shell, this one I find quite sweet because many people, if they haven't dated for a long, long time, or they haven't met anybody or been in relationships, they hide behind their real character until their shyness goes. So it may take a while for them to really explore dating online, but it helps if you are shy because nobody really knows who you are just yet. And then, when you feel confident, you are your own person. You can talk more openly and honestly when online as well. It's very true indeed, actually. People tend to talk more about themselves. So ask more questions as they're protecting themselves by being anonymous. Whereas on face-to-face, it can feel a little bit more sort of intimidating. It's not false, but if you're honest as much as the other person, you can build up a really good bond here. Okay. So in particular, what are your interests? What sort of person will you be interested in dating? They might not be attracted to somebody's looks, but when they actually start talking to them online, they actually fall for them, and when they meet them, that's it. So it doesn't really create a false identity unless you've got a false profile. So sometimes I find with the internet, it's not so much about that person's looks, it's more about their personality. Rejection isn't so fierce as when it happens face-to-face. It's more personal face-to-face, which is a little bit dodgy. So instead, someone can hide behind their true intentions or just not reply to an email if they really are interested. So you don't need to tell them everything, like I was saying. You don't need to reveal your address, your telephone number, anything that's personal to you, even your email address. So you are in charge of how these conversations or how these emails go before you actually meet this person. The negative side, or the cons, addiction and serial dating. I've met a lot of guys and girls that have said to me when they first met somebody online, they just can't stop dating. They've been dating a while or on the internet for quite a while, in the internet chat rooms, and it's like they're not really looking for anything serious. They become very addictive, and for many, they can't come off these sites. So they've been on there a while, they've even admitted it to the person that they're interacting with. So as soon as you suss this out, if that's not what you're looking for, as in a bit of fun, then maybe it's time for you to reject that person. Not everybody lives near you. This is a little bit of a negative because quite a lot of people could live about 100 miles, 200 miles away from you. And again, if that's the right person, are you willing to relocate, or is that something you're happy with? It is a bit of a false world. You can build up this huge fantasy about a sort of a person that you want to meet, but in the real world, it could be completely different. So you think everything's okay, but when you meet, there's a false identity attached to them. So maybe high expectations are not always there, but like I was saying, take your time and be specific about the person you want to meet. Expectations can be too high for a lot of people. That can be quite negative. What are your expectations, and do you assume that you're going to meet the one who is everything you want? This is where the addictive dating comes in as well for quite a lot of people. Are you ready for a relationship, or is this just covering something up? You might say you are ready, but you know deep down you may not be, and this goes for the other person that you meet. It's another issue, maybe behind the scenes, or there's a healing process you haven't looked into since your last relationship. Relationships where somebody's just split up, it can be very toxic to meet somebody on the internet with this. They could have very addictive behaviours. They don't false impressions, they lie, they don't tell you what you want to hear. But you'd be able to judge that because their profile isn't quite what you'd expect. Profiles and lying, that takes me to. So you meet somebody and they say on their profile they're 5'8", they've got this job and they live here, when they still live with their parents, they're 5'2", and not that that makes any difference, but there's a lot of false promises there that are actually on their profile until you meet. But remember as well, there is a price to pay for internet dating versus the free websites. There are various free websites out there, but one thing to remember, as the saying goes, you really do get what you pay for. So if it's free, it's normally for a reason, and the calibre of people on there may well differ from the sites that you may have to pay for. And there is stats attached to that as well. So if you're looking for something more serious, I think it's important to invest your time and your money in particular relationships and on the internet. But let me know your thoughts. Are you currently dating somebody on the internet? Do you know your friends that they are dating on the internet? Or is there something that you're curious about but you're a little bit sort of worried? I'll be answering any of your questions. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Look after yourself and your relationships too. Take care.